Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you.
All right. Welcome to 15 Minutes of Genius, episode 160. We bring on great entrepreneurs. We bring on visionaries. We bring on consultants, investors, just about anyone that we love in the CPG space. I'm here today with Will Nitze. He is the CEO and founder of IQBar. We just had him on Friday Vibes, and he's doing a back-to-back now on 15 Minutes of Genius. Will, welcome back.
Good to be back. I should do like a weekly segment or something at this rate.
Yeah, and actually I forgot to add this. There we go. Now we're finally set. So yeah, we just talked offline for like 20 minutes. So this guy's a wealth of knowledge. He knows his stuff. He has a brand that is growing quickly. This is not just us blowing smoke or saying, oh man, he's growing quickly, like he actually is. He's on Amazon website, great D2C model. And the product, I'm on board with it because it's all about not only physical benefits, but also mental and brain boosting ingredients. So we're going to kind of probably overlap what we talked about on Friday Vibes, but we have a lot less time on this one. So we got to get creative. So yeah, tell us just with your product, I just want to get into the science behind it. I'll pretend I don't know the answers because we just talked about it, but the science behind the ingredients that you put in, why did you put it in? Let's start with the product itself.
Sure. Yeah. So basically our approach is there's like a couple segments you can live in as a product. You can be a food, you could be a nutraceutical, you can even be a medicine. And we always wanted to be in the food world. And so the science is just as important as how you frame the science and how you articulate the science and the verbiage you use in packaging, yada, yada, yada. So that's just kind of an aside, but the two have to come hand in hand. But at a high level, the science is basically, I looked at, what are the nutrients that have the highest or the greatest wealth of research suggesting they're good for your brain, whether that be neurogenesis, you're growing new neurons, energy, just mental energy, staving off dementia, yada, yada, yada. It's good for your brain for some reason. And so basically that's things like vitamin E, that's things like medium chain triglycerides, omega-3s, lion's mane and the adaptogen family. And then what whole food ingredients are richest in those things, and then make a bar out of it. That was the idea. And that was a long process, a lot of trial and error. Like I wanted to have curcumin, which is the extract of turmeric in the bar, because it's super good for your brain for a variety of reasons. I wanted to have resveratrol, which is an extract from grapes. That's why some people say wine is good for your heart and brain and yada, yada. And I couldn't, because you can't sell a $10 bar and you don't want a bar that's like orange and stains your fingers. So
right,
there's all these micro compromises you have to make. And then you have to bring in the realities of cost. And so it's a dance. And now I'm not even getting into that other thing I mentioned, which is how the heck do you verbalize this to your average consumer? But that's the high level of it.
Got it. And then when connecting with consumers, where obviously you have a bar with a name, IQBar, so you're hinting at, not even hinting, it's pretty loud, this is good for the brain. How are you able to get like the mass market consumer to be like, okay, like I'm not looking just for a brain bar. I also want a bar that tastes good, that fills me up. Like, how are you marketing and framing it? Because it is beneficial to the brain, but not everyone is looking for a bar just for the brain.
Yeah. I think the way I put it is the brain thing is a door closer, not a door opener. So you need to meet consumers where they are. And that depends on, that's category to category. So let's take the bar category, like what do people look for? And when they're walking the aisles of Walmart or whatever, and what do people search in Amazon? Like that's an analog in the digital world. And it's things like protein, the source of protein. Is it whey or is it plant-based? And it's sugar and carbs. And there's some other things like fiber and how clean label is it. But there's not that many things. And so you have to win on those things because that's just table stakes. Taste is also table stakes to a degree. But so you have to check. And then the rounding element is, oh, by the way, or another way I put it is, it's kind of an, oh, by the way. Like, oh, by the way, there's brain nutrients in this. And that's kind of like the door closer. That seals the deal. That's the differentiator, but you're not leading with that. You're not like beating someone over the head with, this is a brain bar and brain. Like, no one goes into a store looking for brain food.
Right.
The order of operations is actually quite critical.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And the product itself, going back to just more of the flavors, I'm just, for those that are watching, just displaying some of these flavors: chocolate sea salt, banana nut, peanut butter chip, matcha. You're going more for the mainstream, very approachable flavors here. So you got the D2C, you have Amazon. 5,000 reviews. That's on the variety pack. That is a lot of reviews. I'm sure tremendous amount of revenue. How are you looking to break into more of the mass market, the Costco, the Target, Walmart? Like, when do you want to do that?
Now.
Right now.
Yeah. So we did we had a really great Costco roadshow. We had a really great first buy with Sam's Club, and both awesome partners. So yeah, we're ready now. We can hit a really, really strong price point. We could have a whole podcast on how important unit economics are and how you have to work backwards from that day that you're on a Costco pallet, and can you hit that price point? But we can hit the price point. We can hit a killer price point, a killer offer with a great SKU, and we know we can move it because we did in 2022. So we're ready. And one of the big goals in 23 and beyond is, how do we scale in big box and club?
Are you happy with the pathway that you took with online first and then retail second? Would you do it again?
It's really hard to say. I wish I had two data points, right? Because I have one, and I'm happy with how that went, right? So I don't think I would do it differently. We were very sequential about it. We did a Kickstarter, and then we rolled that into a website, and we rolled that into an Amazon presence. The cool thing about e-commerce is you get so much data, and you interact with so many consumers, right? When you start in brick and mortar, what are you going to do? Stand in an aisle all day and talk to people? Like, yes, you are going to do that, and you're going to demo, but the wealth of data is infinitesimal compared to how much data you can gather online as a starting point, right? So you just, and good and bad, right? You get a lot of people who don't like your product for whatever reason, and you get a lot of people who do, and so it's a really good testing ground, and you can pivot quickly, right? So when you're on shelves, it's really hard, and in DCs and yada yada, it's quite hard to pivot pricing, hard to pivot products, SKUs, the whole works. Online, it isn't. It's incredibly easy to pivot. So I really like it as a first leg of the race, and then sort of find your footing and apply those learnings to brick and mortar. But I'm sure many other people did the opposite and had success.
Yeah, it depends on the product, right? If it's a product that is incredibly online friendly, and I feel products that require more education, online is, I think, a great pathway, because you can do the Facebook ads, you have a website, you have your storefront online that talks about all the benefits, about why you should buy this. Plus, you can turn on and off promotions a lot, which is really advantageous. I feel like, oh, flash sale, and like you said, you can collect a lot of data. Are you going to do? Or maybe you already have done this. So I'm probably asking something may have been done. Are you doing flavor drops at all, like limited edition flavor drops online?
We are going to do that in 2023. We have not. Honestly, I'm amazed at companies that do all these limited time flavors, and
Yeah.
some of them do them a lot.
Yeah.
And
Coconut Cold, they do great with
I'm
flavor
always
drops.
like, how? Well, like, how are you doing? How are you doing that in a bunch of ways? Like, I guess I get it R&D wise, although that's still a lot of work. But then scaling it up, like packaging, especially amidst COVID, supply chain gate, like I don't get it. So no, we have never done that. I mean, it's insanely hard to demand plan for the SKUs we have. All of that being said, we are doing it in a limited capacity in 2023, but we're not really a D2C brand. We have a website, but our Amazon presence is bigger than our website, and then our brick and mortar is bigger than our website too. So we're not. I think we do less things that a really like pure D2C play would do.
Mm-hmm.
I like the strategy a lot. I don't know how those brands pull it off.
Yeah, I guess, I see the brands that pull it off, like our kombucha brands like Better Booch, they pull it off because they have their own facility in Los Angeles, and also Coconut Cold. I'm a big fan of Coconut Cold, and we brought them on this show. They've sponsored Friday Vibes all the time, and they have their own manufacturing, and so they have the ability to toggle and play with that. And they do they do small batches. But if you're like at a co-packer, right, which I assume you are,
Yeah,
it's just the MOQs, the minimum order quantities, can be enormous. And it's hard to like take a bet like that if your minimum order is like 100,000 bars. What if the flavor doesn't take off?
that is our minimum. That is our minimum order.
There you go. I mean, that's why it's called 15 minutes of bing genius.
Yeah.
So I guessed that out of my ass. But so I think like that's why flavor drops are advantageous for the smaller guys. And when I say smaller, not smaller, the ones that have their own manufacturers, they have their own manufacturing, and they can kind of play around. And when I talk with Ari, the CEO of Coconut Cold, he talks about it's a great way to test flavors, because if one really picks up, then that one can go into retail or be a permanent fixture, on the website. The one interesting thing, I want to go back to the data point, the data conversation. Have you been to an Amazon Go, the new Amazon stores yet?
I have not. Weren't they closing down a bunch of their stores, or was that something other than Go?
So that was Amazon, like 4 years ago or 5 years ago. They had like, and I'm probably wrong, but they were thinking of expanding with Amazon Fresh, like more.
Yeah.
And like more the online side, like Amazon Fresh, and then the hubs and all that. And then like they decided to park that when they bought Whole Foods,
Yeah.
because they wanted to collect data from consumers in certain markets and demographics to see what is selling in each city or each community. And then they wanted to reboot their Amazon Fresh, Amazon Go, and eventually do storefront. So this has been like a 6 year, because I think it's been like 6 years since they got acquired. So they have acquired all this data now from Whole Foods, from the brick and mortar. Also, they're offering way more products online, right, on Amazon, because they got Whole Foods now, right? So all the Whole Foods products are now on Amazon.com. So with all the data that they've acquired, they are now opening Amazon Go stores in different, like very like, convenience type stores, like smaller format. You go in, you buy 4 items, you have a hand basket, not a hand cart, not a cart. And anyway, what I was getting at is I went to an Amazon Go in like Oxnard, California. I was stopping to charge my Tesla, and I had like 30, and that's also really cool. They opened up near Tesla charging stations so people could walk in while they're waiting. And they had cameras, probably a typical supermarket, right? Cameras down the aisles, right, to prevent theft. They had probably 10 times the amount of cameras in the Amazon Go to collect data on how people are acting in stores. It's crazy, right? Not only just buying something, not only the register data, but how does a person walk up to the shelf? How does a person look at the product? How long are they looking? And then like I've also heard that this gets even like more insane, that they have facial recognition software so they can even match you sometimes to your account, like stuff like that.
Oh, geez.
So like, I don't know, maybe that's a rumor that I heard or whatever. Maybe I'm wrong, but like they at least can get facial recognition to know what ethnicity are you? How old are you? Right? Like even if you never buy a thing, you walk in and you walk out. So like they're collecting tremendous amounts of data from Amazon Go. Even if you walk in and you pick up a couple bottles, you look at it and you leave and you never buy anything. It's pretty crazy.
That is crazy. I just had an idea. But no, because like they at Whole Foods, you check out and you get the like you spend $300 and you get $1 off or whatever, and they know who you are.
Yeah, Amazon Prime. Yeah,
but what's really interesting? I wonder how useful that data is, though. Like it sounds really cool. I wonder if it moved. I wonder if ultimately that what they find is all that matters is what you actually bought. Like, and I don't know. It sounds so cool, and it's like, but what then? What's like 2.0 and 3.0 of that? And I wonder if that makes a legitimate business difference. I'd be curious.
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. They're probably wondering the same things themselves and are just rolling it out and collecting data to see if it actually helps them. I know the other part that I know is part of was part of their strategy is seeing what people buy at Whole Foods in certain areas of the country because they have a 520 Whole Foods. So if they know, in Oxnard, California, that when people shop at Whole Foods in Oxnard, they're buying, baked beans, or whatever, something random, or IQBar, let's say. They know that when they open up an Amazon Fresh or Amazon Go near Oxnard, they're going to put in more IQBar, right? Because they know people want that in that area. So, and I think Whole Foods has always been about like local, right? And like putting in items locally where people want to go in and see that in their neighborhood store. It's gone away from that with the centralization of Whole Foods. But I think I don't know, man. I mean, Amazon seems to be going in that direction of like customizing each store depending on where it's being opened. But
I'm the Grinch who hopes that happens because we do pretty well on Amazon, and we're not in Whole Foods, and I would like to be. So I'm the guy who's like, hell yeah, let's do that.
Collect that data. Yeah. So we're going to get into our next segment here because we're running short on time. This is called Rapid Fire Questions.
Rapid Fire Questions.
Okay, I've been turning on and off this image. I don't know why I keep turning it off. All right, so we're going to go through some questions. This is for you to kind of get a peek through the tinted window at Will's personal life. What does he do? What does he do every day besides running, IQBar? What kind of personality is he? And that's where his body language, gets a little
tensing up here.
Tensing up. Yeah, a little beat
clenching.
Clenching. I clench only if I have to go to the bathroom in the car. I need another 20 minutes. I read this in Men's Journal. Clench. All right, let's get to these questions here. Ask you 15 questions to answer them as quickly as you can. For music, which decade is the best? The 70s, 80s, or 90s?
I'm going to go with 90s.
What do you do for exercise?
I run like 5 miles, probably 3 to 4 times a week.
Nice. Movie you can watch an unlimited amount of times.
Good Will Hunting.
Yep. I just figured IQBar, he went to Stanford or Harvard.
I went to Harvard. I live in Boston too. That L Street Tavern where that How About Them Apples scene was filmed is I could throw a rock and hit it. So
wow.
Had to do that one.
Yeah, is that the one where also Will first met his girlfriend?
Yeah. In each Harvard.
They should do a Good Will Hunting tour. They probably do, I imagine.
That bar has it's such a one-trick pony. It's everything is about that one scene decades later.
Yeah, I just remember, Ben Affleck like walking through the crowd, like pretending to be cool when he was approaching the girl.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the guy owned him, and then with Good Will Hunting owned that douchebag guy. That was fun.
Yeah.
All right, so what's really funny too is the professor, the one that wanted to discover Good Will Hunting. His son is an actor. Do you know who his son played?
No.
The clown.
Oh, wow.
Skarsgård, I believe. So there's like
Alexander Skarsgård. Yeah.
Yeah. So Alexander is the son, right? I believe.
No, I thought that was the dad.
Yeah, the father, and then Bill Skarsgård is the son, I think, and he's the one that played it. So
he knocked it out of the park on being terrifying.
So, oh my God,
good
amazing
stuff.
It's one of my favorite franchises ever. So, all right, I don't want to read the book because it will freak me out even more. All right, chocolate or vanilla?
I would have said vanilla as a kid, but I'll say chocolate now.
Same thing. Favorite country to travel to?
I went to Valencia, Spain for a wedding and really loved it. So I'll say Spain.
Favorite Star Wars character?
Han Solo.
What is your, it's like being an entrepreneur, Solo. Lonely at the top. What is your spirit animal?
A honey badger.
Wow. First time on the show having that after 160 episodes. All right. Next one. Do you like to drive an SUV, a coupe, or a truck?
I drive a Nissan Rogue, which is a crossover, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of a sports SUV, but smaller, right?
I'm pretty pleased with it.
For food, salty or sweet?
Oh, man, that's really tricky. I'm going to say salty.
Favorite day of the week and why?
If I was trying to be really cool, I'd say Monday, but I'll say Friday because I like both parts of the week. I like the work week and the weekend, and it's a work day, but the weekend is next. Not that interesting of an answer, but
yeah, it's kind of like having like a mullet, business in the front, party in the back. And that's Friday.
Yeah, exactly.
Uber or Lyft?
Uber.
LeBron James, Michael Jordan, or Kobe Bryant, the greatest of all time?
I don't really like Michael Jordan. I'm sure a bunch of people are angry listening to that, but I will say Michael Jordan.
Have you seen his documentary, The Last Dance?
Yeah, I was annoyed at it. Like he got final edit on it, and it's like so lame. It's like obviously it's gonna be not the whole story, and
yeah,
he added just enough critical pieces where it seems like it wasn't doctored, but it was obviously quite doctored. It was good. Like, don't get me wrong, it was a good viewing experience, but I would have liked the truth.
Yeah, be good to see. There's been stories about how he can be really hard to work with and intense, too intense. Which a guy like that's going to be intense because he wants to fucking win every single game. So
yeah, like he's not probably a great human being, but to be that great and that dominant for that long, I often wonder if it's like possible to be a good human being.
Well, I mean, let's look at
Messi. I mean, hey, Messi seems like a nice guy.
Think about the greatest athletes of all time. Babe Ruth had tremendous amounts of personal problems at home. Tiger Woods, we know his story.
I mean, Mike Tyson,
Mike Tyson
bit a guy's ear off. He had his own issues.
Yeah, what's the guy, the tennis player, Roger Federer? Yeah.
All right, he's one where he was a class act all through and through, which he attributes to getting married and staying married, which I would corroborate that.
Yeah, happy wife, happy tennis life. All right, let's keep going here. So Terminator 1 or Terminator 2?
I probably saw Terminator 2, but I don't remember it all that well. So I'll say Terminator 1.
Gotta rewatch T2. It's
okay.
So good. All right, so favorite. I put that question on purpose.
You're a T2 guy?
Yeah, I mean, I love T1, but
I mean,
can't.
I'm a Toy Story 2 guy. I'm a Godfather 2 guy. I don't know
Yeah,
if I'm a T2 guy.
yeah. I guess you just gotta give it a shot. Get some IQBar and popcorn and check it in Genius Juice.
All right.
Watch it. All right. So, favorite food or drink if you're stuck on a deserted island, you cannot say IQBar and you cannot say Genius Juice.
Like am I consuming it like 3 times a day for weeks on end?
That's all you have. Yeah, just to survive on an island.
Lord. Good Lord. I would be something like fairly neutral. Like it would be like a peanut butter cookie or something like that. I've been eating the Quest peanut butter cookie lately, and I do like it.
Okay. So you think you can have 5 Quest peanut butter cookies a day?
I also happen to literally be looking at it. So that's
go.
not that creative of an answer. And I think I said that, I don't know if I said this on the last time we chatted, but Zevia, I just absolutely demolish the ginger ale Zevia. It's
nice.
I think my lifetime value is like 15 grand.
Yeah. Well, they're glad to have you as that's LTV. That's the definition of LTV.
That's why I like chuckle when thinking about LTV on certain things. Like I read a stat where Starbucks is like average LTV is like 15 grand. And I was like, yeah, I believe that. Over my lifetime, I will buy that many Starbucks.
There's probably people that are, I mean, if you do it twice a day, $10, I mean, once a day, $5 a day, 365 days, that's $1,700 a year. Someone buys it for 30 years. I mean, you can see how it can go up and up and up, and you multiply that by 1 billion people, there you go. So that is rapid fire questions with Will Nitze, CEO and founder of IQBar. Anyone wants to buy your products, where do they go, and then how do they get in touch with you if they want to reach out?
EatIQBar.com. We're all on Amazon. We're in Walmart, Kroger, Wegmans, Sprouts, Rite Aid. We have a store locator on our website. So EatIQBar.com and find me on LinkedIn for harebrained thoughts and musings. And yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, this has been episode 160. We just want to remind you, give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. We post these episodes weekly. And then also Genius Juice is raising capital on Republic. It's a crowdfunding website where you actually invest and you get shares in our company. So it's we're growing. We're going to be launching in some new stores. We're launching a new wellness shot line. So we have some big plans for 2023, even though there are always challenges in this business. We got some plans. So make sure if you want to invest in us, help support us, get some shares in Genius. And I'm going to put the campaign link in the comments. And that is it. So Will, thank you again, my man. And congratulations on all your success and Happy New Year.
Likewise. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you.